Are more sellers selling with offer dates? I'll talk about that and then get into the latest home prices for York Region for week ending October 4th, 2023. You know, I have choices as to how I present this data. I could present it monthly or I could present it weekly. And as you know, I'm presenting my data weekly. And the reason I do that is because in this industry, in real estate, I know a lot of people see it as a slow-moving process, but it's not. Things can change. Public sentiment can change quickly. What works and doesn't work can change quickly. And we could start off a month where prices are here. We could end off the month and prices are here. Well, if we average that out and took a monthly average, prices would be here. But if I'm looking to make decisions or if I'm looking to advise my clients, I need to be where the market is today. That's what I need to advise them on, not what it was 4 weeks ago. And many situations, sometimes things don't change much in 4 weeks, but other times they do. And sometimes it's not even represented in the data. This part of the show, I like to talk about some of my own personal experiences being in the field working with buyers and sellers and what I observe, because sometimes that doesn't necessarily translate into the charts and the data. So we saw coming out of the Labor Day weekend was almost like a frenzy. We saw a lot more listings, and you saw that in the data. And we saw a lot more sales, and you saw that in the data. What you didn't see in the data is we saw more showings. Now, when I say a frenzy, I'm comparing it to what we saw in August. So August to September, yeah, it was like a frenzy in September. And we saw a lot more showings. We also saw a lot more properties being listed with an offer date. And these sellers went out and had an offer date. Many of them were not successful. But if you were a buyer in that September period and you're looking at properties to buy, you came across a lot of offer dates that you didn't come across in August. Many of them didn't work out, and then those properties got relisted. But now we're October 4th, and I could tell you from the beginning of September, fast forward just 1 month, we're at the first week of October. A lot of that has changed. Now, there are pockets still, especially in the lower price point of freehold properties. There's still a few pockets where properties are being successfully sold with an offer date, but they're becoming fewer and fewer. So monitoring real estate and understanding it as quick as possible on a weekly basis really helps me. Plus, the experience in the field allows me to give you some of this information where if I was looking at this on a monthly basis, I wouldn't see it. And just from the beginning of September, mid-September to now, well, beginning of September, showings were much higher than they were previously. Showings jumped up, offers jumped up, properties being sold with an offer date jumped up. It's 4 weeks later, and that has already changed. Showings are down, offers are down. Fewer properties are being sold with an offer date coming up. And we're even seeing listings now coming down. So things change quickly. You really got to be careful what data you're looking at, because you could be making a decision based on irrelevant data. Because things in real estate, especially here, anywhere in the GTA, can change very, very quickly. If you feel this video can help buying, below this video in the description is a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Fairfield Estates is one of the most exclusive neighborhoods in York Region. Check out this awesome 3.6 acre lot. The video's at the end of this video. Prices across York Region for detached properties is out of reach for many buyers. Let me show you a quick summary here. We're looking at, this is average sold price for detached properties. Markham, Richmond Hill, Vaughan, they're kind of close together right now, but often they're not. Many times we're seeing average sold prices approaching 2 million, just over 2 million. Right now we're sitting at 1.764, 1.8, 1.9 million for average sold prices. In Toronto, for the same week ending October 4th, average sold price was 1,656,000. It's cheaper to get a detached property in Toronto many times than it is in York Region. And the biggest reason is Toronto just has way more entry-level type homes. They're smaller homes, they're smaller lots, but the price point is lower. And that's why there's a big difference in average sold price for detached properties. Let's get started with Vaughan here. And I also got to say, volume sales is so low right now across the three cities I'm talking about here, Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham. Sales is so low, it's really tough with these charts to get a handle on whether prices are going up, prices are going down. Generally speaking, prices are trending down across York Region. For week ending October 4th, 23 detached properties were sold. That's a big jump from the previous week. So 23 were sold, 6 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price is now sitting at $1,801,000. $1,801,000 is 11% higher than where we were this time last year. The median price of $1,570,000 is 10% higher than where we were this time last year. And it's tough to, even if you look at the dotted line, which is a 4-week moving average, it's tough to see which way prices are going just because sales are so low, and 1 or 2 sales at the low end or at the top end could really affect the overall average sold price. So 23 were sold, 39% sold at list price or more. Listings. So coming outside of Labor Day, listings shot up, but then they stayed kind of in the mid 8s. Now they've dropped down to 75. Are we headed downhill between now and Christmas now? Did the excitement coming out of Labor Day, that the first few weeks in September, is that starting to fizzle out now? I think so. This is kind of what we're seeing. Active listings, it's trending up, but not so aggressively. Months of inventory came way down. Well, think about it. The previous week we sold 12, I believe it was. This week we sold 23. So months of inventory, yeah, came down a bit, but still sitting very much in a balanced market at 3.9 months of inventory. Overall, been trending up from where we were 3 months ago. Been trending up from where we were 2 months ago, 1 month ago. That's what's happening in Vaughan for detached properties. Here's Richmond Hill. 15 detached properties were sold. 3 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price came down from the previous week to $1,900,000. 1.9 is 18% higher than where we were this time last year for detached properties. The median price is 15% higher than where we were this time last year for detached properties in Richmond Hill. Of the 15 that sold, 27% sold at list price or more. Listings. We haven't really seen that many new listings. We jumped up to 70, and then it started coming down, and now we're back up to 66. So not that many active listings. Yeah, it's trending up, but not so aggressively. Properties are just sitting out there longer these days. Months of inventory did come down a bit, sitting now at 4.6 months of inventory. And you could see from where we were to where we are now, months of inventory has really increased quite a bit. Here is Markham. 20 detached properties were sold. Not a big change since since mid-August. Not a lot difference as far as weekly sales goes. 4 of those properties sold at $2 million or more. Average sold price came down to $1,764,000. If you kind of look back since the beginning of August, kind of looks like average prices have been increasing in Markham. Compared to last year, 1,764 is 2% higher than where we were this time last year. The median price of 1,673 is 5% higher than where we were this time last year. Of the 20 that sold, 60% sold at list price or more. 20 is not a lot of sales here, folks. Listings. Outside of just the other side of Labor Day, listings shot up. It's what we expected everywhere. It happened, and already they're coming down. 74 were listed. Active listings, yes, it's trending up. That's what we would expect in this kind of market. Months of inventory came down a little bit, sitting now at 3.6 months of inventory. And you could see from where we were before, just 3 months ago, to where we are now at 3.6, a big difference in months of inventory. Here's condos. This is for all of York region. 45 condos were sold. Sales has been trending up when it comes to condos. Of the 45 that sold, 3 of those were at $1 million or more. Average sold price has come down, sitting now at $711,000, and you could see it has been trending down. 711 is 5% higher than where we were this time last year. And if you follow the trend, the blue line, that's last year's average sold price. Since Labor Day, we've been trending a bit higher than where we were this time last year. The median price is 1% lower than where we were this time last year. And that helps to explain why the average price came down. We did sell more condos at $1 million or more. However, the average sold price still came down, and that's because the median, there were a lot more lower end or lower price point condos being sold. So median price is 1% lower than where we were this time last year. Of the 45 that sold, 27% sold at list price or more. That percentage is down. We were in the 50s, we're now 27%. Listings shot up, and now they're coming down. 122 were listed. Active listings is climbing. Months of inventory sitting at 3.5 months of inventory. Here's a quick summary. We're pretty much in a balanced market across the board. You're going to find pockets, neighborhoods behaving outside of that. Some, depending on the price point, depending on the neighborhood, it could be somewhat aggressive for a good property. And then other neighborhoods, you're going to go in and there's going to be a lot of listings, and they're going to be sitting there. And you're wondering, should I buy this one? Should I buy that one? Should I buy that one? And then you're just going to do nothing, and you're going to watch. And that's what a lot of buyers seem to be doing. They're just waiting to see what happens. Sellers are sitting there waiting to see what happens. Buyers are sitting there. There's not a lot of activity going on right now, but there's lots to choose from. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.
Welcome to Fairfield Estates, one of the most prestigious neighborhoods in York region. Now, this residential lot is one of the largest at 3.6 acres, and it sits high above the rest of the neighborhood. If you want everybody to kind of see what you're up to, this isn't for you, this lot, because this lot is totally private. Have a look.